Fighting evil by moonlight, winning love by daylight. We'll be talking about this show tonight, the one called Sailor Moon. Today we'll be discussing the Japanese animated television program Sailor Moon, or Bisho Josen Shisera Moon, which translates to Pretty Soldier Sailor Moon. We'll be showing you some of the history of the series while also analyzing some of its themes later on in the program. Let's begin.
Get ready to be punished in the name of the moon.
That means you! We gotta bust some bad guys!
Every weekday at 4, Sailor Moon and the Scouts take girl power to a whole new level.
With your foot!
Sailor Moon, weekdays at 4.
We are the champions of justice!
Only Johnny will you win.
To understand the series, we must first understand a bit of the history of Japanese animation in general. After World War II, the Japanese entertainment industry was struggling and needed to rely on cheaper methods of production to create media for people to consume.
Animation became popular because of the incredibly cheap methods of production that allowed studios to reuse footage often. You can see the shortcuts taken in Japanese animation in scenes that feature characters standing and talking with only their lips moving, and more commonly transformation scenes that have high production value that make the show whole feel higher quality.
Sailor Moon is actually one of the most famous examples of transformation sequences being reused. Nearly every character has an extensive and detailed transformation that is used in almost every episode said characters are featured in.
These transformations were useful for filling time in episode and keeping amount of original animation to each episode low. Now that you understand anime, let's talk more specifically about the show itself.
In the program, we follow the main character, Serena, a high school student, which one day finds out she is in the reincarnation of the Moon Princess and the destined leader of the Sailor Scouts. This is explained to her by a talking cat named Luna.
If that doesn't seem like enough, Serena and her friends still have to go to school, do their chores, work part-time, and pine over boys.
Sounds a lot like my day.
Who would have time to do all of that while saving the world? Let's watch some of the clips showing the history of anime and origins of Sailor Moon.
A 1,000 years ago, our moon was home to a great civilization ruled by Queen Serenity. Everything was peaceful until the arrival of the evil Queen Beryl.
First the moon shall be mine, then the universe!
To conquer the moon, Queen Beryl unleashed the awesome power of the Negaforce. Although her world was destroyed, Queen Serenity's last hope was the power of the Empyrean Silver Crystal and the Crescent Moon Wand.
Only this crystalline wand can combat the power of the Negaforce. Never let our enemies get them, or the universe is doomed. But most of all, you must protect our dear Princess Serena. Understand?
Yes. Frozen in moonbeam crystals, the Queen sent the princess and the children of the moon to the future on Earth. Their memories lost to them all, the Queen's cat advises Luna and Artemis must find the princess so she will at last be safe. And so our story begins.
When Sailor Moon first debuted in 1992, there weren't very many shows like it. Japanese animation wasn't very common in the United States, and the most popular Japanese animated program in the U.S. was Speed Racer, which was heavily edited and rewritten for audiences in the West.
Not only that, the show was very atypical for its time. The show had a largely female audience, yet still featured action. My Little Pony, Rainbow Bright, and Trolls usually were marketed directly to female audiences and featured many feminine stereotypes.
Shows for boys, on the other hand, featured grand adventures, daring escapes, and many, many damsels in distress. What was it that caused the change? Blending of ideas that were previously thought of as segregated stories.
The 90s self-acceptance movement had a heavy influence on how television, toys, and other products were marketed to children. Many shows largely focused on self-acceptance and the pursuit of becoming a better person, as well as subverting more dominant paradigms.
Sailor Moon was the champion of this, with characters that were very feminine that also weren't afraid to fight. Previously, female characters in action/adventure shows would be relegated to the position of support, never acting directly. Sailor Moon subverted this with characters that were very physical, with their enemies taking them head-on.
Gosh, how did anyone survive before Sailor Moon in a pre-third wave feminist landscape? I could never deal with that type of drama.
Here we have a clip of the original pitch for Sailor Moon in the West, as well as a few bits and pieces of toy commercials and other various media that were associated with the show during its airing.
And history was made. Now get ready to make history again. Blast off with the most powerful series in 25 years, Sailor Moon. She took Japan by storm, and now she's coming here. Sailor Moon is #1 in France, Italy, Spain, Hong Kong, and Japan. And now she's sailing to the USA. Record-breaking ratings and shares. Sailor Moon is the biggest sales and merchandising phenomenon ever in Japan. Bigger than Power Rangers and Turtles combined. We're talking serious moon power. $1.5 billion of retail sales, and now it's coming here.
I've got a bad feeling, Scouts. Jupiter's never late. Relax, Sailor Mars. It's only rain. Sailor Mercury commands the star power to rescue Sailor Jupiter. I'm Sailor Venus, and I'll bet Sailor Jupiter's at the mall with a boy. Sailor Jupiter! The Negaverse is trying to drown the planet. The power of love and friendship. Did we do that?
Hi again. You know, I get so much fan mail. The post office gave me my very own zip code. Problem is, it's so hard to find time to write back. I mean, especially when you got comics to read and French fries to eat, and there's a sale at the mall. So I'm sorry if I owe you a letter. Anyway, here's one from Bobby Siegel in New York City. Bobby says, Dear Sailor Moon, how come you're so totally clumsy? Well, Bobby, here's a question for you. How come you're so totally out of it? I mean, do you think I actually fall down on purpose? Like, even? Anyway, here's another one. This one's from Jessie Casman in Atlanta, who wants to know, is there any room in the Sailor Troop for another Sailor Scout? Sorry, Jessie, the answer is no. But remember, you don't have to be a Sailor Scout to help save the world. I mean, there are other things you can do, like recycling. If you find any old candy bars, packages of gum, or boxes of cookies cluttering up your desk, just send them to me. Anyway, your letters are giving me a humongous appetite. Now, about my friend Amy. When I first met her, I was sure she was one of those Einstein types who knew everything except how to have a good time. I mean, we were so majorly different, I didn't think we'd get along at all, which just goes to show how totally wrong you can be about people. I mean, you can't judge a movie by its poster. So, watch how Brainiac Amy becomes Sailor Mercury.
Part one, Nickelodeon Magazine and you. Fellow fun seekers, what surprises are you looking for? Action, adventure, gourmet recipes? When you get Nickelodeon Magazine, you never know what you'll get. See famous celebrities and pull-out pranks, puzzles, posters, quizzes, and great stuff to collect. You can even collect Nick Magazine, but how? Part 2, your parents and you. Parents want you to have fun. They know Nick Magazine is good for a healthy brain. And when you ask nicely, parents can help you. And that's a good thing, because you have to be 18 or older to order. Part 3, your magazine, your parents, and your brain. What have we learned? Nickelodeon Magazine is a surprising magazine. Your parents want you to have fun, and your brain will thank you for the fun. Nickelodeon Magazine. Oh, please.
A dangerous enemy has appeared. You're the guardian that's been chosen for this mission.
Moon Prism Power, make up! Mercury Power, make up! Mars Power, make up! In the name of the moon, we'll punish you!
There's some good dancers here.
Let's show what we've got, Polly.
Dance and groove, dance and groove disco. A new way to dance, dance and groove disco. DJ spinning, attack the cuties. Dancing with Polly and sipping smoothies. Changing colors to a look that suits ya. Ballet or hula, beat is gonna move ya. Dance and move, dance and groove disco. A new way to dance, dance and groove disco.
Get your Polly on! Dance and Groove Disco set comes with one doll. Color changes with icy water, other sets and extra dolls, each sold separately.
Polly.
Welcome back. For almost every episode of Sailor Moon, the primary characters are all female, from Serena herself to the other 4 Sailor Scouts and Queen Beryl. The show is steeped for women.
Much of the aesthetic itself is themed around traditional feminine symbols like the color pink, bows, dresses, and makeup. The primary audience is young girls on the cusp of womanhood. Because of all those elements, it would be a disservice to not analyze the show with a feminist framework.
Within the show, as we see Serena as a protagonist that is very passive, she does very little to actually push herself towards her goals, and very often prefers being lazy, eating junk food, and oversleeping. Her cohorts, however, are much different.
The character of Sailor Mercury is very studious and rarely is unable to answer academic questions. Sailor Mars is headstrong and determined. Seldom does she ever hesitate, and she can often be berating Serena for not taking action.
With that in mind, one could interpret the show as a coming-of-age story of a young girl growing into her role of an adult. Throughout the course of the show, we see her mature, inspired by her more idealized friends that need less development than she does.
Another common aspect of the show is Queen Beryl's use of capitalism to lure the Sailor Scouts into a trap. Jewelry stores, dyed fads, and beauty pageants are just a few examples of plans she puts into action.
They are framed as manipulative parts of our society that prey on young and inexperienced women as if to tell the audience to be wary of these potentially bad places. The show seems to make a stance that the independence and freedom to choose what you participate in most beautiful. Now, not well a woman subscribes to do what she's told.
The most glaring issue within the show is the feminine visual aesthetic that permeates almost every episode. Compacts and ribbons and rainbows as a sort of weaponized womanhood.
Within the context of merchandising, it seems as though the show was designed with the belief that young girls only like traditionally feminine products, as opposed to having them make sense within the show.
Ultimately, the question is simple. Does the use of feminine aesthetic in the context of Sailor Moon uplift these traditional items and give them potential in other contexts, or does it bog down the superheroics by steeping them in unrealism?
Sounds like a question for Sailor Mercury, if I've ever heard one. Let's take a look at these examples and then we'll be right back.
Joke, Serena, do you hear me? This is your destiny.
My destiny? I must be dreaming.
It's no dream. I'll prove it, Serena. Just repeat after me. Moon Prism Power.
Okay. Moon Prism Power! What happened? This dream is getting weirder and weirder. I'll never study that hard again. I want to play Sailor V video games. Better enjoy that laugh, Beryl. It's the last one you'll ever have. You'll never rule the universe as long as I live.
We better get this over with then.
Let's get to it.
You don't know what you're up against. Goodbye, Sailor Moon!
I will defeat you, Beryl, in the name of the moon.
Welcome, ladies! Here's your chance to own diamonds. Sapphire,
I don't get it. My mom's sure acting strange. Yeah, what'd she put in her coffee this morning?
Today only, everything in the store is 90% off. Please feel free to try on anything.
And surrender your frantic energy to Queen Beryl and the Negaforce. For I am Morga, loyal disciple to the Negaverse, and my jewels will drain away all your energy.
You have done well, Morga. So much greed. So much energy. Queen Beryl will be most pleased. Feed the Negaforce, foolish humans. Queen Beryl will soon triumph. Prepare them, Morga, for her triumphant arrival.
Imagine a world where time drifts slowly. A world where music carries you away. Experience pure moods, the perfect soundtrack for your way of life. Direct from Europe, this multi-platinum collection has won the hearts of millions. Set adrift with the timeless pleasures of tubular bells. Or take a trip into the unknown with the X-Files theme. No other collection gives you the feeling of pure moods. To order Pure Moods, call the number on your screen or send check or money order for the amount shown, plus shipping and handling. Rush delivery available. Call now.
Capri Sun. Liquid Cool. New Capri Sun Strawberry Kiwi flavor, the latest in liquid cool. Now, country music is taking worship down home. Open the eyes of my heart, Lord. Time Life presents Songs for Worship Country. 16 beautiful songs for just $17.98. You'll hear Charlie Daniels, Diamond Rio, Ricky Skaggs, Rascal Flatts. He ain't the leaving kind. But
wait. Order in the next 10 minutes with your credit card and we'll take $8 off. Then, preview other great country albums. Satisfaction guaranteed. So call now and get Songs for Worship Country for just $9.99.
Call 1-800-643-9911 to order Songs for Worship Country for $9.99 plus shipping when you use your credit card, or order online at timelife.com/worshipcountry.
Friedrich Nietzsche famously wrote, "God is dead, God remains dead, and we have killed him." Not true, Freddie. As you might surmise, this aptly applies to Sailor Moon.
We see this show shown an endless cycle of reincarnation, death to rebirth to death to rebirth again, that the Sailor Scouts experience. If life was to repeat over and over and death was forever permeant, everything would lose meaning.
What is currency? What is currency if you can infinitely acquire it? What is time if you will forever go on? What is mortality if you are immortal? This is the epitome of nihilism, the belief that intrinsically all life has no meaning.
Now, to someone that has just realized this, it can sound like a major bummer. Imagine how that would feel if you were, say, a young teenage girl. Serena and her friends, one by one, come to realize that the cosmic dance of the rebirth of the Sailor Scouts is eternal and that their lives are meaningless.
Each one handles it differently. One could even argue that one of the primary themes of the show is how we deal with stripping away of meaning that comes with maturity. Sailor Mercury is hesitant. She clings to the possibility that life could have meaning. Because of this, she holds back and is often frightened.
Serena, who drifts back and forth between disbelief and the truth, can only truly fulfill her goals when she is able to remove the shackles that tie her down to humanity.
Sailor Jupiter represents the idea that life can be forced to have that meaning. That, through strong action, life can have purpose thrust onto it. Because of this, she is daring and pulls no punches.
Sailor Mars realizes that life inevitably has no meaning, but feels pressured by that realization to act quickly because without meaning all things are fleeting, soon to disappear into the chaotic void of the universe, and that she must choose what things she desires and holds close to them.
If all these characters represent the turmoil of nihilism, then Sailor Venus represents the acceptance of it. She is cool under fire and immediately welcomes the removal of meaning with open arms. She has reached a nirvana of sorts and knows that without meaning, life is an open field in which one can control the earth and will it to any form.
Wowzers. That sure was a mouthful. At the end of the series, the cycle begins anew, but Serena retains some memories of the previous cycle. How will she cope with the realization that life has no meaning this time? How will she cope with it the next time? How will she?
Anymore.
You should be!
Cosmic moon power! Here I'm standing in the night. Fight this evil. My present wand, the only light. Do not give up, Serena, you can do this. But I sense my friends are near. I'll draw from each the power I need. I am not letting you win this one, you witch. My friends are counting on me.
Hey, Serena, I'll help you with this assignment if you want. You are so stubborn, Serena. Let us help or I'll never speak to you again.
Yeah, let us help you put her away. Still too many guys we gotta meet.
Let us help. We haven't known each other long enough for it to end yet.
I do need all of you. Please, help me.
Mercury power! Mars power! Jupiter power! Venus
I'm totally late for school! Oh yeah, thanks for lunch, Mom!
I'm so proud of our scouts. They really did it. And they all came back safe, too.
Yes, only now they don't remember any of it. It's like none of them ever met. They don't remember being friends or Sailor Scouts, nothing.
Oh, excuse me.
Don't worry. They just need to meet up again, become friends, and then maybe they'll remember.
I hope so. But what about Serena and Darian?
Hi, I'm Serena, a hospital volunteer. You had a really bad accident. Hope you're feeling better.
Yeah, thanks. You know, Serena, no offense, but you got the funniest hair. Looks like a pair of meatballs.
Meatballs? Here I come in to cheer you up, and you say my hair looks like meatballs?
Totally collectible.
Bratz cats from the Bratz Pets collection, each sold separately.
Gentle shampoo.
L'Oreal!
Tear free.
It's new! L'Oreal! Kids!
No more knots.
Because we're worth it too!
Beautiful hair.
L'Oreal!
Oh, it's so beautiful. New L'Oreal Kids shampoo.
Because we're worth it too!
Before we go, we'd like to discuss one last topic, and that is the Übermensch. The Übermensch, or Superman, is what Nietzsche postulated to be the ideal specimen that he referred to as higher types. They are the perfect humans, highly creative, incredibly thoughtful, and very rare.
Napoleon and Beethoven are two examples he gave to him. Humanity was an obstacle to be passed. The few individuals in our world that were capable, that could jump the hurdle and achieve absolute unquestionable greatness, were to be known as Übermensch.
What is ape to man? A laughingstock or painful embarrassment, and man shall be that to Übermensch, a laughingstock or painful embarrassment. You have made your way from worm to man, and much in you is still worm. Man is a rope, tied between beast and Übermensch.
These are the Sailor Scouts. The man to us, beast forever, living and greater than we, but an inspiration to all of us. If I fucking care anymore.
Winning love by daylight.
Never running from a real fight.
She is the one called Sailor Moon.